going to want to go out there and buy these players. Start sending the trade offers. We're in week 4. We got some clarity, man. First 2 weeks, we're grasping at straws. Oh my God, this guy that popped off is insane. Go spend all your fab on a guy that's a bum. With 3 weeks of data, I think we start to have enough data to extrapolate for the rest of the season and expect to get some more consistency, some better results. Now, Trey Tucker is an outlier. Please don't go spending all your fab on Trey Tucker. If you look at Trey Tucker last year, he was a bum. Now, we're talking about 6 guys in this video to buy low. Guys that have started off slow, where their data is not going to be consistent. You know, we've seen them potentially be slow in the past. We expect more consistency. We expect higher results. Name number 1, Brian Thomas Jr. He was in last week's buy low as well. Another week, another reminder. Now, Brian Thomas Jr., take a look at how bad he's been. 9 points, 9 points, 8 points. Really, this first week of 9 points, really it was 2 points because he had a rushing touchdown. Take that away, he was at 2. So this guy's been bad. Now, if we look at the target volume, in week 2, he did have 12 targets. You know, the other 2 weeks, he was at 6, 7 targets. It's not terrible. You'd like to see BTJ averaging around 8 or 9 targets a game, which honestly, he has been for the first 3 weeks. Now, the receiving totals are terrible. The yards, bad. The touchdowns, bad. The receptions, bad. But so has Travis Hunter. It seems like Travis Hunter is now shifting to mostly defense. He played mostly defense in week 3. Take a look at Diami Brown. Diami Brown is banged up. Who knows the extent of that injury? If Parker Washington can thrive, he's not even on the website, bro. Flockfantasy.com, go check it out for free. Great tool. If Parker Washington can get 12 targets, what do we think is going to happen to Brian Thomas Jr.? He's going to come back to earth. Take a look at 2024. In week 6, 5 points. In week 9, 5 points. In week 10, 3 points. Don't panic. He had 5 bad games last year, and everything else went according to plan. He will start to make the most of his targets. The only concern you have for BTJ is he playing banged up? It sounded like the coaching staff said he was playing through a bit of an injury. They actually slipped up and they said that coming out of one of the games. I think it was coming out of last week's game in week 2. They had said, oh yeah, he was dealing with an issue. Why didn't you report that, Duval, buddy? Come on. So BTJ, I would go out there and I would still treat this guy as a top 10 wide receiver option. If we look at the current Flock Fantasy rankings, he's too low, man. Like, I would rather have Brian Thomas Jr. at this point. I'd still rather have BTJ than a Doomsday, even though I'm high on him. I'd rather have BTJ than Brown. I'd rather have BTJ than McMillan. Rather BTJ than Adams, Wilson, Flowers, Ibuka. I'd rather have BTJ than all of them. So go ahead, target BTJ. He will not disappoint you. Trust me. Name 2 is Mr. Josh Jacobs. Now, I have Josh Jacobs in my personal league that I care most about. And what I'll tell you about Josh Jacobs is you're going to want to have this guy on your team. Now, he had his worst game of the season, week 3. It was his best game. He had 9 targets. Now, the first 2 weeks, sure, he keeps the touchdown streak going. He ends the touchdown streak in week 3 in a tough matchup versus the Browns. He looks terrible in week 3. Bad rushing efficiency. Listen, the first 2 weeks, I thought he was cooked. I was sad. Even though he had 14 points per game, I was sad because he wasn't getting targeted in the receiving game at all. Comes out week 3, 9 targets, 44 yards, 5 catches. We're back, baby. We're back. No touchdowns, 12 points. Not good, but like I don't care. The receiving usage was there. I like that. So Jacobs, the reason he's a must-buy, first off, people are fading him now because he's only averaging 13 points per game. I love his matchups. Week 4 takes on Dallas. Week 5, you can potentially exploit the fact he has a week 5 bye. Tell the dude, hey, listen, man, you know Jacobs already has a bye week 5. I will eat that bye week. I'll eat it. You know, I'll take the L. Okay, Josh Jacobs isn't in the lineup. Go ahead and use that to your advantage because afterwards, you got the Cowboys before, you have the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Steelers who give up 30 points per game, the Panthers, the Giants, the very good schedule over the next 6, 7, or 8 weeks for Mr. Jacobs, and that alone, coupled with the receiving usage, it just is too appetizing to pass on. Ashton Genty. People are panicking, man. This guy, 12 points, 7 points, 6 points, and he's not really getting involved in the receiving game. 0 targets in week 3. Take a look at the snap percentage. You know, 87% snap 1. It was down in week 2. Now, in week 3, he was back up to 17 carries. He's getting a good bulk of the rushing usage, but he hasn't hit pay dirt since week 1. He hasn't been targeted in the receiving game. Listen, that will come with time. This Raiders offense, don't forget, it's a new quarterback with Geno Smith. Their O-line has been playing pretty bad as well. If Brock Bowers is starting slow, of course Genty's going to start slow as well. So I think that mark this on your calendar. I think he has a good game versus the Bears, to be completely honest. But honestly, I think by week 6, I think Ashton Genty will still be a top 7 fantasy football running back. I mean, you have the fall of Chase Brown, the fall of Pacheco. You're going to have to turn to somebody as one of these top 8, top 10 names. I know Pacheco wasn't the top 10. I'm just using him as an example of a guy that's been a complete bum. Because there's been a lot of running backs falling down the rankings. James Conner's gone now. So I really think that Mr. Genty can still bring you fantasy football value. He's the only one they have, their best player, honestly, on offense, along with Bowers. So I would definitely be targeting George Kittle. You might be saying to yourself, are you stupid? Are you out of your mind? George Kittle has served 2 of the 4 weeks he is required to miss from being on injured reserve. George Kittle looked insane prior to the hamstring injury. When Kittle comes back, he should still remain a top option, especially on this banged up 49ers team. Important note, I would specifically recommend buying George Kittle low if you are a winning team. If you're sitting there at 1-2, 0-3, maybe even 2-1, you got no business going after Kittle. If you are sitting there at 3-0 and maybe 2-1, go ahead, man. You have nothing to lose. You're chasing the upside of George Kittle. Sure, maybe he's out for the next 2 weeks. He has to be. Maybe he's out for the next 4 weeks, which would kind of suck. But even if he's out for the next 4 games, if he returns and he's giving you 15 points per game consistently at the tight end position, I think you're in a good spot. I think it's a winning deal. And people are going to be eager to sell him considering he's out for at least the next 2 weeks and maybe even longer. Trey Benson. You might be saying to yourself, buy low on Trey Benson? Huh? You're right. His price is higher than it was before. But I have news for you. His price is going to keep going up. I recently just completed a trade in my own league of record. I sent Chris Godwin for Trey Benson and Khalil Shakir. Shakir sucks, but Benson I am very, very bullish on. The reason I love Trey Benson is that he was a 3rd-round pick, always waiting in the wings behind James Conner. We haven't seen him flash. We haven't seen him get his opportunity. We started to see him excel a little bit in the first 3 weeks of the year, even behind James Conner. We specifically saw him flash in the receiving game. 6 targets week 2, 4 targets week 3. The backup is Emery DeMercado. Nobody. Who? So Trey Benson, already going to be involved as a receiver, will get the bulk of the carries, goal line carries. The Cardinals offense isn't terrible. And I honestly think having the mobile quarterback of Kyler Murray obviously helps with stacking the box. Benson should benefit from that. I believe Trey Benson is somebody that you still should be targeting. I think this guy's going to be a true league winner. And I would honestly look to pull off trades just like I did in my own league. Now, we have other guys soaring up the rankings. We have Judkins soaring up. Ricky Pearsall has been a big-time riser. Keenan Allen's been a big-time riser. Cam Scatterbo. Cam Scatterbo is one of those examples where, it's unlike Trey Benson. I think Scatterbo has already reached a pretty fair price. But Scatterbo, man, if he has the bulk of the carries over the next 4 weeks with Tracy being gone and he maximizes it, he's going to be a stud potential league winner. Those are the guys I wanted to highlight in terms of buying them low. If you got any questions down in the comments about any guys you're asking about in particular, let me know. I'll be happy to help you boys out. Go target those names. Brian Thomas Jr., Genty, Kittle, Jacobs, Trey Benson. So much talent out there to be claimed for cheap. Thanks for watching. See you boys in the next one.